Queens Tribune are James Farrell and John Cronin. So with that being said, I'm now going to ask the candidates. We will go to 1 minute opening remarks, and we will go left to right. You know what? No. All my Catholic school training, chivalry is not dead. We're going to go ladies first. So we'll start with Elizabeth Crowley, and then Allison Tan, and then we'll go left to right. So Elizabeth, take it away. 1 minute.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Crowley. I represent the 30th Council District. I want to thank the Queens Tribune and St. John's University and all of you who've joined us tonight for sponsoring, attending this important candidates forum. I'm proud of my record over the past 8.5 years working for the district I represent. When I first was elected, we had a severe overcrowding problem in our local schools. I worked with the Department of Education to build 4 new schools and additions on school buildings where we had the space, building out our school capacity by 5,400 new classroom seats. To preserve public safety, I worked to keep our firehouses open, to give our emergency responders the tools that they need to keep us safe, and with my colleagues in the City Council to find the resources to hire 1,300 new police officers. I've invested in parks in every area of my district to preserve our streetscapes. We've done a lot over the years to keep the communities that I represent safer and our neighborhoods stronger. We need strong, steady leadership in the 30th Council District, and that's exactly what I intend to do, given the opportunity for one more term. Thank you.
Allison, take it away. 1 minute to go.
Hi, my name is Allison Tan, and I'm running for City Council in District 20, which represents parts of Flushing, Fresh Meadows, Auburndale, and parts of Whitestone. I know the City Council seat is an incredibly powerful seat to effectuate quality of life changes in the district. I'm raising my 2 little girls in City Council District 20, and I know that the environment that they grow up in, it's going to impact their self-confidence and their outlook in life. I want them to be proud one day, when asked where they grew up, to proudly say Flushing. But today, Flushing is not headed in that direction. Downtown Flushing is miserable. Garbage everywhere, lacking in sanitation, congestion, pollution. The neighborhoods of Fresh Meadows have been devastated by illegal conversions of McMansions that have destroyed the character of our neighborhoods. And I try to go by what I teach my children, that if you are unhappy and unsatisfied, then you stand up and you speak up. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. All right, we're going to go left to right. Left to right, Hiram Monserrat.
Hiram Monserrat. Good evening, everybody. Very happy to be here at St. John's, here in the best borough in the city of New York, Queens, New York. I'm very happy for the invitation, the opportunity to come speak with you. I know that we have very limited time. I used to serve in the City Council, served for 7 years. I served in the New York State Senate for almost 2. During my tenure in office, I have to say that I had the opportunity to serve my community well, introducing a bill which eventually led to Executive Order 41, which was the beginning of codifying New York City as a sanctuary city. I passed a bill that I introduced to provide free parking meters on Sundays, so all of you that don't get a ticket on Sunday, I had a little something to do with that. And I negotiated a large development called Willis Point in Queens, which unfortunately fell off the rails after I was no longer in office, and then it became a bonanza for politically connected developers. In the Senate, I was a key vote in the reform of Rockefeller drug laws, and I am very happy to be here running for the 21st Council District. Unfortunately, my opponent decided not to show, but stay tuned. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Hiram. We've been joined by Rory Lansman. Rory, 1 minute opening remarks.
Hello. There you go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 24th Council District. It's a pleasure to have you all. It's a pleasure to be at St. John's University, which is somewhat of a alma mater for me. I graduated from ROTC here. That's got to count for something. I actually live down the block, so you would think I would be here on time, but I apologize. I was with the public advocate at an event, and once the politicians start talking. It's been my great honor to represent this district for the last 3.5 years in the New York City Council. I think that we've accomplished a tremendous amount for this district and for the city of New York. I chair the Committee on Courts and Legal Services, so a lot of my time has been spent on issues related to reforming the criminal and civil justice system, and hopefully we can get into some of the details on that later this evening. But I thank all of you for coming out here. I thank all of the candidates for showing up, and for St. John's and the Tribune for hosting this event. Some elections are more competitive than others, but they all deserve your attention, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Rory. Peter Koo.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Councilman Peter Koo. I have been representing District 20 for the past 8 years. I came to the United States in 1971 and put myself through college by working minimum wage jobs in Dunkin' Donuts and KFC. I finally became a pharmacist and moved to New York. After working in Booth Memorial Hospital for 8 years, I opened my first pharmacy. 20 years ago, I started community services by joining Lions Club and Rotary Club. And I found out in order to do more for our community, I had to run for office. That's why I ran for City Council in 2009. I lived in this district for 35 years, and the community has been very good to me. That's why I want to continue working hard to make sure our next generation enjoy the same opportunities I have. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. It's nice to be back. I think 1992 was when I graduated from St. John's Law School, so it's been a while. And yes, Chris, I've joined the 50-plus rank, so it's nice to be back into the hands of the ARRP. As the council member for District 19, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to St. John's, thank you to our students for being involved. A primary focus for our office has been bringing the students, especially at the high school level. Some of you may have been part of our ambassador program, which allowed the unification of our high schools and our students to get involved with politics. The reason why these nights are so important, you get to see our candidates, you get to hear what we've done. It's nice to say re-elect for the first time in my life. So for the last 4 years, it truly has been the best job and best endeavor and the best thing that I ever could have done was to put District 19 back on the map. When you're last in everything, there's a lot to do. And we've done that. And we've done it with your help and with the leaders that are in this room. So to bring us back is what your council office is supposed to do. Reconnect city agencies, reconnect our seniors, our small business, our safety, our schools, our quality of life. It's been a great 4 years. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Paul Graziano. I'm running for City Council against my opponent, Paul Vallone, in District 19. My background is in urban planning and land use. I have been active in the community for 24 years. I've lived in my community for my entire life, 46 years, in North Flushing. And the work that I've done has been to protect our neighborhoods from overdevelopment. Queens has been, in general, overdeveloped. Every district is seeing huge pressures in development pressures throughout the borough, and in the district that I live in, which is District 19, as well as parts of District 20 and other areas nearby, I helped to rezone these areas to stop too much development from happening. So I focused on these issues which dovetail with quality of life issues, infrastructure issues, etc. And it's extremely important to continue to do this. It is not something that once it's done, we can walk away and not deal with it anymore. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bob Holden, and I'm president of the Juniper Park Civic Association, which is one of the largest in the state. I'm running for city council in the 30th district, and this is a huge undertaking, actually for anyone. And I've been in civics for 30 years and volunteered on so many levels that I'm going to run out of time. But I formed the Midville Dodgers baseball team. I formed the Juniper Valley Park Conservancy. I saved what would have been the Younghurst gas tank site, what would have been a Home Depot. I made it into a park. I led that fight. I fought off 3 homeless shelters from different mayors, Dinkins, Bloomberg, and certainly de Blasio. So I'm on the forefront of the fights, and I'm not from a political family. I'm a volunteer for 30 years. I'm also a college professor for 40 years. I was born and raised in Mastiff. I still live around the corner on the border of Middle Village and Mastiff. My mother grew up around the corner, was born in a house in 1924 around the corner from where I live now. And again, I'm a volunteer, and I'm not from a family or I'm not a career politician.
All right, that concludes the opening remarks. And again, before I turn it over to the questioners, Mike Nussbaum gave me an additional challenge tonight because the opponents have to share a microphone. All right, so I'm going to implore the opponents here, don't get my Irish up, all right? I don't have to come in and wrestle the microphone out of your hands. But with that being said, we're going to turn it over to our first questioner, and the first topic we're going to cover tonight is education.
Thank you, Brian. All right, the first question is, what protocols would you put in place to ensure that all students feel comfortable? Would you advocate for gender-neutral bathrooms? No, this is for everybody.
Yes.
It's very important that our children feel comfortable at school. With all that's happening in the world today, with so much hate brought on by riots and division, with our President Donald Trump not being accepting of people who are different or people who identify as one gender versus another. I think it's important that we have bathrooms that are for girls exclusively, bathrooms for boys, and also a gender-neutral bathroom where a student could attend a bathroom, use the bathroom in which they feel most comfortable.
Not sure if you'd like us all to answer each question, but just to jump in, I think education is probably the top key for all of us. I think this is a part of a much larger discussion. I think that our children need to feel comfortable without bullying, and part of that, the gender neutrality, is as a new generation of children are growing and discovering who they are, you have to have options for everyone. And I think having what Liz had said, a boys, a girls, and a gender neutral would help us facilitate and make that a very small part of a very larger issue of how we bring quality education to our districts equally throughout Queens, since this is a Queens debate. And we as Queens elected officials are always fighting for our fair share in the budget. And I think we have to stand together. And I think it's so important. This is a type of topic where you need to stand with all of your elected officials to bring back the resources for your principals, your teachers, and your students, or you won't see the difference. So that's a topic within a much larger topic.
Education is the equalizer in our society, so it's really important that we provide excellent education, especially in the PK elementary levels. And of course, we want to provide opportunities for everyone, and I would say we should have the gender-neutral bathrooms for those individual stores everyone can use, and if it was a big group, then we have to assign accordingly.
I'm raising 2 little girls in this world, in this climate. I want my girls to grow up in a world filled with love and respect. And I want them to be proud of who they were born to be. And so unequivocally, I support gender-neutral bathrooms, female bathrooms, male bathrooms, bathrooms that allow our children to choose where they most feel comfortable in. Thank you.
I don't even think this is debatable at this point. I think every child should be comfortable in going to school, and there's so many other issues to deal with in this city and in education that I think this is really a non-topic at this point. We should just implement it, and that's it, and be done with it. And again, we should invest in our children, and however we do that, again, it has to come from their best interest. Thank you.
I do support gender-neutral bathrooms. It is so important that every person in particular, every young person be comfortable, be accepted for who they are, as they define themselves to be, and that certainly when they're in a school, they not feel that they are being singled out or made to feel in any way embarrassed about who they are.
Thank you. My answer would be yes. In my community, Jackson Heights, Crony, Selmers, and Elmers, one of the other issues regarding education is the overcrowding. We have some of the most severe overcrowding of schools, public schools in the state. And I think if there's anything that can point to a failure of leadership, is children having to be taught in trailers and in broom closets. Thank you.
Okay, now, just for an organizational point of view, when the question is directed at the whole panel, we'll go left to right, all right? And we'll start with you, all right? Just so nobody interrupting each other, that kind of thing.
What is the top priority for schools in your district, and as a council member, how will you address them? That's what
Well, clearly there was a prelude to that in my prior answer. The fact of the matter is we have severe overcrowding. If you have an environment where there's 35, 40 kids in the classroom, it's very difficult for even the best of teachers to teach and maintain discipline and control in their classrooms. That's the challenge that we face. Our part of Queens is emerging greatly in population, and the census tract continues to repeat every 10 years that population only grows exponentially. And so I think that the only solution to that clearly is investing more money, capital dollars from the city of New York. Obviously, it should be coupled with capital dollars from the state of New York to create more school space.
The biggest education issue in my, I'm sorry, right? Yeah, okay. Is the enrichment programs, the arts, the things that are beyond the 3 R's. Fortunately, in the 24th Council District, we have good schools. There's not a single school that I would identify as struggling. Our kids, our teachers, our principals, our kids themselves, their parents are doing a good job of the basic education that they're getting. We allocate a tremendous amount of